Before we start the show this week, I want to tell you guys about a fun little segment that we're going to be piloting called Founder Spotlight, where we highlight Indian startup founders that have been in the news lately, either for good or bad reasons. So stick around until the end of the video to see the pilot of that new segment. And now let's jump into the news. Unfortunately, more layoffs have happened in India's startup ecosystem this week. We have digital health platform Mfine laying off 600 employees. That's about 75% of their workforce. Now, according to Mfine's employees, the main reason for these layoffs is cash crunch. The startup just can't afford to continue paying salaries for so many people, which the employees are surprised by because just 9 months back, Mfine raised its Series C round, which was $48 million. Mfine shared this unfortunate news with their employees via email and also informed them that they'd only be paid for 20 days in the month of May. And another reason why this news was surprising is that employees were told by management that they had nothing to worry about, that everything was okay. That, of course, ended up being not true, and across India's entire startup ecosystem, there have been more than 6,000 layoffs in the last 5 months. According to some analysts, though, this may actually just be the beginning, and in the next 6 to 9 months, that number, 6,000 layoffs, could increase by 10x to 60,000 layoffs. The founder of Unacademy, Gaurav Munjal, has said that this funding winter could last as long as 18 months, and in a letter to his employees, said that we must focus on profitability at all costs. Now, speaking of the need for profitability, it looks like OYO is going to be pushing the date of their proposed IPO because looking at their financial year of 2021 numbers, things are not looking good. Their revenues contracted by 69% and they saw a loss of 3,943.84 crore rupees. They're specifically delaying their IPO plans for 1 more year, and experts are saying that this is because the company wants to show a path to profitability before they actually go public. It's also very likely that in spite of this 1-year push, they're also going to be lowering their valuation by at least 30%. All right, next up in the news, Flipkart is giving Urban Company a run for their money because they're entering the on-demand home services space. So up until this point, Urban Company didn't really have any major competition in this market, but now Flipkart has announced their plans to start offering AC cleaning and repair services, and this is just the start. Later on, they're going to be expanding into other on-demand home services. Previously, Flipkart did offer AC cleaning and repair services, but only to customers who had purchased an AC unit through Flipkart. Now, though, they're expanding this service to anybody, no matter where they bought their AC from. They're going to be offering this new service through a company that they acquired back in 2014, Jeeves Consumer Services, and currently they're only offering this in Bengaluru and Kolkata, although they will be expanding in the future. This latest offering is actually part of Flipkart's larger plan to become a super app. They, of course, have digital payments covered through PhonePe, travel through ClearTrip, and fashion wear e-commerce through Myntra, and they also recently launched Flipkart Health Plus to help users access medicine, healthcare products, and services across India. All right, next up, this video is brought to you by our longtime sponsor, Jungle Ventures, a Singapore-based venture firm. So Jungle Ventures focuses on the Indian and Southeast Asian markets and mainly invests in startups in the seed stage or growth stage. They recently closed a $600 million funding round, and now their total assets under management are more than $1 billion. Now, besides mentoring and investing in their portfolio companies, they also provide content for free for everybody to watch on their YouTube channel. And today, I wanted to highlight one video that they made talking about how you, as a startup founder, can get noticed by VCs. Take a look.
LinkedIn deserves a very, very special mention. I'm there all the time. VCs track startups and founders like hawks on LinkedIn. It's common practice for VCs to keep a close eye on LinkedIn to see senior people leaving big tech companies to join or build a startup. It's a good signal that senior people are willing to give up their high-paying jobs to join a startup.
So if you liked what you saw there and you want to watch the full video, you can find a link to it in the pinned comment or description down below. And if you yourself are a startup founder, or you're planning on starting up someday, or maybe you're just a startup enthusiast, you're someone who wants to learn more about business and the ins and outs of starting up, then I would highly recommend that you check out Jungle Ventures' YouTube channel, and I'll be putting a link to that channel in the pinned comment and description down below as well. They post a ton of informative and educational videos, so while you're over there, make sure to hit subscribe and also hit the bell icon so that you don't miss any of their uploads. And thanks to Jungle Ventures for sponsoring this video. All right, moving on to some acquisition news now. Sri Chaitanya Group's Edtech startup Infinity Learn has purchased a 75% majority stake in another Edtech startup, Wizklub, for $7.5 million. So Wizklub is a high-order thinking skills platform for children, and by acquiring Wizklub, Infinity Learn will launch a new platform called Infinity Futures, which will provide tech knowledge and other skills like analytical thinking and problem solving to kids in the age group of 6 to 14. Over the next 24 months, Infinity Learn is planning to onboard over 1 million students for Infinity Futures, and this is Infinity Learn's third acquisition this year. Earlier in 2022, they had acquired Teacher, a digital platform for the teaching community, and Don't Memorize, a concept-based multilingual content platform. Now, before we get into the funding news, let's go ahead with this new segment, the pilot of Founder Spotlight. And this week, we have two founders who have been in the spotlight, unfortunately this week, for all the wrong reasons, the founders of Invact Metaversity. So Manish Maheshwari, one of the two founders here, served as Twitter's India head for 2 years before co-founding Invact Metaversity with Tanay Pratap, who was a software engineer at Microsoft before becoming the co-founder and CTO of Invact Metaversity. Now, the startup in question here was founded in December of 2021 and promised a 16-week-long metaverse MBA program for which they raised $5 million from investors. But now they've shut it down, and very abruptly at that. Apparently, before shutting down, Manish wanted Metaversity to be a B2B metaverse product that would be sold to universities, whereas Tanay was in favor of building an entire virtual university campus offering job placements and more. Now, of these two founders, Manish has said significantly more than Tanay at this point. Tanay really hasn't shared his perspectives on the whole thing, but Manish wrote a detailed Twitter thread explaining that the technology just didn't work, and that's one of the reasons why they shut down. And this was something that Tanay was responsible for, so he kind of put the blame on Tanay. But then one of the company's investors came in and commented on this thread, saying that Manish, being the majority shareholder, held the company hostage. This whole situation has raised a lot of questions on social media. People are asking why 30 people have to lose their jobs just because of the non-alignment of the founders of the company. Other people are asking how the investors poured money into this company without even making sure that the founders shared a common vision. So yeah, it's an ugly situation all around, and that's why these founders have been in the spotlight. Anyways, let's move on to the funding news now, because D2C food essentials brand Country Delight has raised $108 million in its Series D round at a $615 million valuation. This Series D round was led by some investors who are new to Country Delight, Venturi Partners, and Singaporean-based private equity company Temasek. So Country Delight provides dairy-based products like milk and ghee and other products like bread and fresh fruits and vegetables to its customers on a subscription basis. They're going to be using these Series D funds to add new categories like pulses, grains, spices, oils, pickles, and basic snacking items too. All right, next up in the funding news, let's move into our bird's eye segment now, because 19 Indian startups raised more than $1 million this week, with $234.3 million being raised across India's entire startup ecosystem. D2C, of course, led the charge. They raised almost half of the funds this week, 47.8%. That's $112 million being raised by startups like Country Delight with $108 million and Almo at $2 million. EV startups were next at 11.1%. That's $26 million being raised by companies like BlueSmart at $25 million. Then we have the local e-commerce sector raising 10.7%. That's $25 million being raised by 1K Kirana. And then finally, we have FinTech at 9.9%. That's $23.1 million being raised by startups like Three Wheels at $10 million and Nakad at $7 million. Now, that was the funding news at a glance, a bird's eye perspective, but if you want a more in-depth look, then make sure to subscribe to our newsletter. You can find a link to that in the pinned comment down below. All right, that is all the startup news that I have for you guys this week. I really hope that you enjoyed the video. Big thanks now to all of our Backstage with Millionaires members, our unicorns, our decacorns, and our hectacorns. And of course, also big thanks to this week's sponsor, Jungle Ventures. All right, I will see you in the next one.